My first ever kiss. To myself. It's taking off my clothes, definitely. Who's this? Who is this Africa queen? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time, my name is Dan Abia, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. You all have my heart, and if you have not yet subscribed, why? Please click on the subscribe button below to subscribe to this baby girl's channel. Okay guys, so basically in today's video I will be doing a first time tag. I saw this trending on YouTube and all of that, so I decided to jump on the trend and I went ahead and downloaded some questions. It was quite a lot, I think about 100 questions, but I just had to pick about 10-15. So I'll be telling you guys about my first time doing different stuff. So let's get right. So the first question here is, first app you check when you wake up in the morning. I think the first app I check when I wake up in the morning is my Bible app or my WhatsApp. I think it's between the two. Some days it's my WhatsApp, some days it's my Bible, but lately it's been my Bible because I always get notifications like by 7 a.m. for my Bible, sometimes 6:30, and then my WhatsApp, if I get a very important message I might actually open my WhatsApp first. So it depends, either my Bible or my WhatsApp. First plane ride you ever went on. I think my first plane ride was when I was about 13 or 14, thereabout, I can't remember. I was supposed to travel with my mom to Abuja, so that was the first time I used the plane. And hey, I almost disgraced myself. I was this close to disgracing myself. My mom kept saying, "You're a big girl, stop acting like a local girl. You don't have to tell the whole world that this is your first time." But I was so scared, like I could not sleep through hours. Like I look at my mom and she's actually sleeping. I'm like, how do you do this? I held my mom's hand throughout the whole flight. I couldn't even look outside the window because it's not me that is going to fall out from the plane. And like I've heard so many stories of plane crash and everything. Normally I'm a paranoid person, so my first time was not even funny. It was very scary. The takeoff and the landing was not even funny at all. I was this close to screaming, but my mom held my hand and told me not to disgrace her. So that was my first celebrity crush. So my first celebrity crush, I actually have three. I used to have three major celebrity crush back then. That's Eminem, Drake, and Lil Wayne, and Rihanna. Like you see these people, even Nicki Minaj. I think I had a lot of celebrity crush, but Drake was like number one for me. Like he's so fine and he's so good. He's good till now. He's still like one of my favorite. And then Lil Wayne, especially when Lil Wayne sang "Mirror on the Wall," here we are again, dream arise and fall. And then Eminem sang I'm not afraid to take a stand, something like that. So Eminem, Drake, and Lil Wayne used to be my best. I think I used to be a rap person. I don't know what happened to me. My first crush, my first crush I think was in church, children's church that year. I liked one guy like that. He was a twin. I think his name was Shedrack. I don't know where he is now. I liked this guy and like almost all the girls in church liked him, but he was not, I don't know why, he was not a very nice person. He was not a very polite person. I think he was just full of himself because so many girls liked him. And I liked him a lot, but Oga broke my heart. So like I was so little, I don't even know how I let the heartbreak get to me, but it got to me anyways. I had a crush on this guy, but he was the kind of guy that used to gossip with girls. So one time he actually gossiped about me with some of his other girls, and I think from then he made me cry. Like I went home and I cried. I think that's the first guy I cried for and all of that. So he actually talked about my scar, which was quite very not funny, so I had to like let him go. My first ever kiss. So I had my first kiss, like my first real kiss. I don't mean the whole normal kiss, like I mean like my first French kiss was when I was in secondary school. I was in a boarding school, and I think one time during prep we had lights out, like the lights just went off, and I went to the toilet to actually pee. And then I don't know know the way this thing happened. And then there was this guy there. We were not that close, actually. We're not that close. And I was not expecting it to happen. But I don't know, we got talking, there was no lights, and we're just sitting there and we're having good conversation. And then one thing led to one thing, and then we kissed. And it was actually a very good kiss. Like, I was not expecting it, but it just happened. So that was my first ever kiss. I was such a good girl before that kiss. So, like, that was my first French kiss. Okay, my first fear growing up was actually hot water, kitchen, fire, because I was actually very scared of on the gas or using a stove or doing anything that was related to fire or anything hot. And that was because when I was young, I had a fire incident or a hot water incident. So because of that, like, it took a while for me to actually adjust to using the kitchen. I was really scared of kitchens and fire and hot water. So that was my first fear. My first heartbreak, I think it has to be Shadrach. Shadrach was my first heartbreak. He talked about me and I got heartbroken. But I think my first ever real heartbreak was when I just finished secondary school. I was dating this guy and he was actually double dating, and I knew he was double dating, but I just couldn't leave the guy. I couldn't leave him because he used to tell me it's me he loves and not the other girl, and the only reason he can't leave the other girl is because he feels she won't be able to take, or like, yeah, she won't be able to take it if he breaks up with her. And I believed it. That's the part that is breaking my head. I actually believed that line. So I think my first heartbreak was my relationship with that guy, because almost everything about that relationship for me was heartbreaking. Like, I knew he was double dating, but I couldn't leave him, but eventually I did, and I'm so proud of myself for that. First movie I remember seeing. The first movie I remember seeing is End of the Wicked. Like, if you are Nigerian and you've not seen End of the Wicked and Karashika, hey, I don't understand the kind of home you grew up, because in my house, you see Karashika. In fact, sometimes while sleeping, I used to have these whole like flashbacks in my sleep. I'll be hearing Karashika, Queen of Demons. So like, the first movie for me was End of the Wicked and Karashika. Because of End of the Wicked, I stopped eating puff. Like, if you know, you know. If you don't know it, forget about it. But if you don't watch that movie, just go and watch it. As a Nigerian, in fact, growing up in an African home, it's a must. You must watch that movie. First thing I do when I get home. What's the first thing I do when I get home? I think it's to take off my clothes, like, especially my bra, because it needs to rest. I cannot keep myself. It's taking off my clothes, definitely. First time you ever got drunk. The first time I got drunk, it was quite embarrassing. They stole my phone. My parents got mad at me. I disgraced everybody. But not the only good thing, I did not throw up. That's how I know that me and alcohol, we have a very good relationship, because I didn't throw up. I used to hear that the first time getting drunk, you have to throw up. But I didn't throw up. So this fateful day, I went out. I went for a friend's birthday party, and I don't know what happened. I just kept drinking and drinking. The alcohol did not hit me till it started getting late, and it was time for me to get back home. That's how I started misbehaving. And back then we were like really young. I just finished secondary school. I didn't really know lots of stuff. So my friends then got a little bit worried because I was really misbehaving. I was not just getting anything right. I was really misbehaving. So they had to take me out to the road and look for a keke that would take me home. But there was no keke to take me back home. It's the keke for me. So there was no way for me to get back home. So I had to, a nice guy actually stopped and decided to pick us up. So they offered to take me back to my house. But when I was in the car, I told them they should not tell my parents I got drunk, or that they should say I'm having chest pain. So when I got home, I decided to start acting like I was having trouble breathing. I started acting like I was having chest pain so that nobody will notice. My mom actually believed me, but my father, that's why if your father is a doctor, don't even lie to him that you are sick. So I had to pretend that it was chest pain. But the moment my father came close to me, my father knew that it was not chest pain. My dad shall gave me a very dirty slap. And you see that slap, I'll never forget it. That slap just made me come back. Like, I was alright instantly. I didn't need anybody to tell me anything. I did not need anybody to pour water on me. That slap alone, I just became fine. And the man that was supposed to be my helper, is after dropping me, you not pass and go back home. He decided to wait behind and tell my parents that I was drunk, that I was with plenty people. In fact, he even added pepper and salt to the story. And I think my dad gave him money for helping me. And I think that's why he had to stay behind to say other stories. It was not even necessary. But anyway, that was my first time getting drunk. When I woke up the next morning, I could not find my phone because my first time getting into trouble in school or at home. For home, I was always getting into trouble for sneaking out and all of that. I can't even remember the first time. And also in school, I can't remember the first time I got into trouble, but I was always getting into trouble. I think I was quite stubborn in school back then. I even got suspended, almost got expelled. But I'll tell you why I got suspended. I didn't even do anything serious. So these people thinking about it now, it wasn't even worth it. I don't know why they took it too serious. So we used to have classes from 8 a.m. to 2 o'clock, and then we'll now go for lunch and then come back for lessons. And I hated all those plenty lessons, especially any day we're having math lesson. So this particular day we're having the normal math lessons, and I wanted to skip the class so bad. I was in a boarding school, so I actually wanted to skip, and then I asked my friend and she was like, she wants to skip. So I don't want to mention her name, but she knows. So we now got to the hostel. We actually thought the hostel would be open because normally by 2 o'clock they always open the hostel for cleaners to clean or whatever, but the hostel is usually open by 2. So we actually got to the hostel, and when we got there it was locked. And so my friend suggested we push the gate. I don't really know how to explain the gate, but is this gate that if you push it there's a space under? So we pushed the gate and then there was a space under, and she now told me we can crawl under. So she crawled under, and then I followed her, and then I was feeling like a big girl. I just skipped class. I could not even wait for my friends to come back so that I'll gist them about how we crawled under the gate. So I was already feeling free, lying down on my bed and just, in fact, me and her were gisting. Only for us to look out the window, we now saw the principal, the vice principal, and everybody coming towards the hostel. I actually thought, oh, maybe they just want to come and check one or two things, maybe check the lighting or something. Only for them to enter into the hostel and start shouting our names. Hey? So I had to go under. I went to a different room. I went to hide under the bed. She went to a different room. She went to hide under the bed. But they kept calling our names, and I was so sure that they saw us or somebody must have reported us. So that's how I came out from under the bed. Not be small walk of shame. They now started asking us how we entered the hostel because it was locked, and we kept saying the hostel was open, but later we had to admit that we crawled under to enter the hostel. And that's how the next morning they called my parents that they are bringing us back home, that we have been suspended just because I skipped classes. I don't think it was really necessary. My dad was mad at me. Inside the bus, me and my friend were crying because we knew we were going to go and face problem at home. So that's just the story. That's what happened. I skipped classes. I sneaked into the hostel. My first time using an escalator. It was not funny. I was this close to being on Insta blog. You would have just seen something like Slay Queen falls from escalator because it was not even funny. So the first time I actually used an escalator was at Abuja airport. I was going back to Uyo. When I was actually coming from Uyo to Abuja, I don't need to use the escalator. And while I was in Abuja, I used to avoid the escalators. Like, I'll just use the staircase. If there's option for there was always an option for a staircase, so I'll always opt for the staircase. But when I got to Abuja airport, I didn't know there was an option for staircase, so I thought I had to use the escalator, and I felt like, okay, it's time for me to actually face my fears. So I actually stood there I didn't know what to do, so I was just walking around the escalator. I didn't even know where to start from. I was just watching people. I had to carry my phone, open my YouTube, and start searching how to climb an escalator without falling, because I was not ready to be carried on Insta blog. I was just there. Even after watching YouTube videos, I could not do it. I didn't have the courage to do it. That's how I could not take it anymore. And I could not ask any of the ladies there. They looked rude. And I was so shy to actually admit that I have never used an escalator. And then there was this fine guy. I was like, hey, is this how I'm going to disgrace myself in front of this fine boy? After a while, I was like, I can't even stand here for so long before I will miss my flight. So I had to ask this guy, hi, hello, what's up? I'm sorry, I've never used an escalator before. Hey, God. Fine girl like me, I've not used an escalator before. Hey, I was so shy, so I was like, I've not used an escalator before and I really don't know how it works, so please can you explain it for me? And he was like, oh, it's not a big deal, you just place your hand, just climb on top of it, be careful of the yellow line and all of that. And I was like, oh, is it that easy? And I felt like telling, please can I just hold your hands? But I was like, no. At this point, I had to be brave, so I just tried my best. Even after he told me this thing, I did not want to climb it when he was there, because if I fall down, it's not going to be funny. So after a while, I now had the courage. I just stood on it and then I just moved. And then when I was about to come off it, I was still scared again. But thank God, I just jumped. Did you see the way I jumped off the escalator? You that you are watching, you know that that's my first time. But I was so thankful that my name no go Insta blog, because it would have been very, very shameful. I don't get energy. My first time asking a guy out. Okay. I have never really asked a guy out though, but I have told a guy that I like him a couple of times. But my first time was actually with this guy. Like, we're actually very close. I think I was either done with secondary school or my 100 level or something, so we're actually very close and everything was good between both of us. We were always with each other. I don't know if it was a situationship or we were kissing, you understand. We were so I actually liked him a whole lot, but he didn't say anything about liking me, so I thought maybe he didn't have the courage to say it first. So I now decided to say it first. So I remember we were together and then I now told him that I wanted to tell him something, and he was like, what is it? And I was like, I can't say it though, let me write it down for you. So I took a little piece of paper and I wrote down, I think I like you. And he was like, let me see. And I was like, no. He was like, let me see. I was like, no. And then I finally showed him and he was like, I think I like you. And he now smiled and he now collected the paper and he wrote, I think I like you too, my big head. And then he returned it to me and I was blushing, so I automatically thought we're in a relationship. So there was this time he started talking to this girl, and in my head though, because he said he likes me too, I thought we're in a relationship, only for this guy to say that when he said I like you too, that he did not mean it like in a romantic way, that he just likes me, like he likes my company and all of that. And he was actually in a relationship. So the first time I told a guy I like you, that was the outcome. But then it has not stopped me from telling other people, if I like you, I'll tell you I like you, because life is too short to be hiding my true feelings. If I like you, I'll tell you I like you. If you like me back, fine. In fact, why won't you like me back? I'm a speck. First time you had a fight with somebody. Physical fight, Abby. Yes, so I've actually had a couple of physical fights. I said in secondary school I was stubborn. I had a physical fight with like 2 people. I've been 2 or 3 people. I shall fought in secondary school a couple of times. I can't even remember. But you see the thing about me fighting, if I look at you, if I size you up and it looks like you can beat me, forget it. I'm not fighting. I will talk from morning till night, but I'm not ready to go into a physical fight. But if I look at it and it looks like I can give it to you, I'll be ready to fight. But if you can beat me, if I look at you and you can beat me, sorry, I know they fight. So I can't remember my first time fighting. I was always fighting in school. I don't know why I was like that. We're done. Okay, guys, so that's my it's over dance. If at all anything like that exists. I don't know, I'm always so hyped up when I'm in front of the camera, and when I'm doing this, you're watching me. It makes me so excited. Okay guys, so that's it for today's video, and please do not forget to click on the subscribe button below to see more of this baby girl. I can go ahead and click on the bell icon so you get a notification every time I post a new video. Thank you, my babies. I love you.